Obviously, we've already seen renders of the upcoming Galaxy Z Fold 7, which depict a device that is much thinner than before, but also quite a bit larger, wider exterior cover display, but also a wider, taller inner display as well. Basically looking a lot like the Galaxy Z Fold Special Edition, but even thinner than that with a few more pretty nice looking changes. Now, because of that, I've been kind of watching the internet looking for cases because occasionally what will happen is a company like on AliExpress, somebody will list a case for an unannounced or unreleased device. That gives us a pretty nice chance to kind of get a general idea of what this thing is going to look like. And I had seen some listings like this one that show for Z Fold 7, but the problem is there are no photos. The photo stays the same for all of them, and that was kind of disappointing. Didn't know if it would be worth going forward or not. Probably should have just ordered one because it's $1 plus shipping, but luckily, somebody on Reddit appears to have already done that work for me. If I jump over here, this is from Quincy MMX. This looks like the exact same case. And what you see here is that Z Fold 7 case next to a Galaxy Z Fold 6, and boy, are there big differences. Now, obviously, the thing you can tell from this perspective is how much wider the Z Fold 7 is going to be. Now, they've got both the device and the case pushed up against a ruler on their left-hand side, so you can see all of that extra width is over on the right-hand side. If we use this measuring extension here, what we can do is go to the hinge, and this isn't going to give us like millimeters or whatever. I guess you could work out the math, but 190 or 183 pixels wide on the cover display of the Z Fold 6. And if we come down here and do the same thing, it's going to be roughly 206. Now, the different thicknesses of the case going to play a factor there. I guess we could also just do this. We'll open this image up in a photo editor, and I'm just going to copy and then paste that case back down, and then we can line them up how we want them to be. And you can now see that that cover display is still sticking out about that far. It's not a huge difference, but keep in mind, the Z Fold 6 was a step in the right direction. It was wider than the Z Fold 5. So the Z Fold 7 looks to be about that much wider again, and that would put it pretty darn close to an aspect ratio you would expect to see on a normal phone. If you just look at that cover display area, that looks like a normal phone to me. Now, obviously, on the left-hand side of this, where the camera module is, that does look very similar. You can see the location of the LED flash as well, but they do have another image showing it the other way around. You can see that this thing is quite a bit taller than the Z Fold 6 as well. I'm expecting it to be basically the exact same size as the Z Fold Special Edition, which is an 8-inch screen. So that is very much lining up with what we're seeing here. Just for comparison's sake, the Z Fold 6 was a 7.6-inch screen. We're talking about an 8-inch screen. We look at that cover display. Where is it at? 6.5 inches on what we should be expecting from the Z Fold 7, 6.3 inches on what we got with the Z Fold 6. So both of these screens are getting larger diagonal, and of course, based on what we can see, they are both getting taller as well. So bigger Z Folds should be fun. If we really want to get into the weeds, we can look at the measurements that we have here as well. They've put this next to a ruler. I'm assuming that these are centimeters, because if I open these images up such that I can zoom into them and kind of see what's going on a little bit better, you can see that this goes up to right about 16 centimeters. And it's very hard to read this, but if you count them out, that's definitely 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So about 16 centimeters. And over on this one, we start at about 13 and a half, and we end a little bit over 28. So what would we say that would be? Something like about 14.75. And then if we take the rumored dimensions of the Z Fold 7 from OnLeaks, 158 millimeters by 143 millimeters. And if we understand that centimeters and millimeters are a factor of 10 apart, so 16 centimeters would be about 160 millimeters. Hey, we're pretty darn close. And keep in mind, We are looking at a case which does add some thickness to it. That lines up pretty darn well. 143 millimeters, well, that would translate pretty closely. I said 14.75 centimeters was my sort of blurry guesstimate based on all of this stuff. Well, that would be 147 millimeters. We are, again, relatively close. So even though this is fuzzy, it's blurry, we're kind of fudging this a little bit. I think that this is close enough to say that this case is accurate and that this is an accurate size comparison between the Z Fold 6 and the Z Fold 7. And I think it's a size comparison that makes the Z Fold 7 look pretty darn good. It answers really all of the complaints that I have had with the form factor of the device. Now, they don't show from the sort of down angle where you can see thickness, but again, we will be dealing with millimeters and a case that adds some thickness, so that might not have been super useful, but nonetheless, we know that this thing's going to be quite a bit thinner. In fact, if we go back to this article here, we are expecting around 4.5 millimeters thick. No, that does not put it in the range of the 4.2 millimeters of the Oppo Find N5, but it is going to be a lot thinner than the Galaxy Z Fold 6, which was a fairly chunky 5.6 millimeters. It should be lighter. It's bigger. The cover display is bigger. These are all very, very good things. Now, as far as the other specifications, rumored Snapdragon 8 Elite, which is a great processor. 4,400 milliamp hour battery is definitely a little bit on the disappointing side. The Z Fold 6 made it through the day for me just fine, but I will admit to you, the Find N5 does last longer by a fairly significant margin, and we would love to see that as well. But they are also adding the 200 megapixel primary camera, likely from the S25 Ultra, so that is also an improvement. We're going to be getting a larger vapor chamber as well. S Pen is sticking around, even if it is probably using a new technology which might require the S Pen to have a battery built into it. You won't be losing S Pen functionality, bare minimum. I still think that given the lack of competition, this device, which is fantastic, did not ship in North America as the OnePlus Open 2. That's a big deal for Samsung. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold is looking like a device that's going to lean heavily on software. The Z Fold 6 is getting a lot better in terms of hardware. It's going to be thinner than the Pixel. It's going to have a higher resolution main camera than the Pixel, which some people are going to really care about. It's got all of Samsung's software when it comes to foldables that people really, really like. As long as the price doesn't go through the roof for reasons which I'm sure you are all keenly aware of, I really think that that device might end up being fantastic. And you know what else was fantastic? This post from Quincy MMX. Big shout out and thanks for posting this because it made for a fun video. I'm going to give you an upvote. I'm going to put a link to this post in the description down below, and I encourage all of you to go do the same. Go show some appreciation because this did, like I said, make for a pretty cool video. Guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this size comparison in the comments down below. Subscribe for more content just like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.